was in Atlanta High School. This photo is when I came a little late than I was supposed to. And I didn't know where to go. And then I found Eddie Rose and Mr. Arnold. And then Dr. Hunt came in and told us that we're going and he's kind of lost.
So this is actually right now. So just I want any young man to just talk about like who's on the screen and like kind of what they were doing during the program. Easy enough.
Jacob Francis. I'm going to be a senior at the high school in Moravian.
He was in there. And she was. Who the ones you killed?
My name is Johnson Taylor. I'm going to 11th grade next year, and I go to Lehigh Valley Academy Charter School. This is I was told Gavin. I was told that he's behind the scenes, he's playing everything he go around. So you guys can thank him for this whole program. Him and Mr. Dr. Hunt over here. Yeah, Jose, call Jose, his name's Isaiah. One of the Prince, Bill, each foreman, insane, awesome. They told us about the college, told us about being students, the college experience, told us about being minorities in college. Incredible leads. I'm so sorry, don't take this personally. I never got to talk to you, I don't know your name. That's Michelle. She also was she was helping organize stuff.
So really quickly, this is a team that helped put together this program, right? And so Michelle here, she actually works in our office. She's the assistant director of diversity and inclusion. She works with students during the academic year on program and development, and works with them one-on-one with all the affinity groups on campus. And Mr. Gavin Kemper, he's our office manager. He does everything for us. So we would not be able to function right now if it wasn't for him. So that's just our team on top of that.
Before you go, so when the guys first got here, they don't know each other. When check-in happened, we were ready to start the program at 11, but everyone got here like at the time I asked, which was 5:10, 10:15. So they spent a good hour, a solid hour and a half. This brother spent probably two and a half hours in that lounge space. They're all on their phones. No one's talking to anybody. So the ice is pretty thick. The ice is pretty thick. Now, my colleague, Albert, has a unique ability to get fellas to engage, right? I got suggested that he study this later on for his dissertation. He has the ability to get people out of their seats and move, right? And so Roger's going to tell us what's happening in these pictures.
name is Rajan Stevens. I'm from Allentown Central Catholic. I'm going to be a senior. In this photo, it's the icebreaker because at first we didn't all want to talk to each other. We were quiet and staying in the back. But Albert is out, and you want to bring the ice machine on us and help us feel better to hang out with each other. And in this picture, that's me, Chauncey, Spider-Man. And we was playing rock paper scissors, and I would be Chauncey would win to see you and the children on that album.
What's wrong? What do you want?
And this is all together, and this is cheering us each other on, because that's what they do after we did rock paper scissors. If you lose, it's your own teammate that just beat you. So after that non-one, felt real proud about them being able to do rock paper scissors. I think that. And we got close to each other, and then get close to each other. Always got my brother.
So this is literally like hour one of the program. I was finishing up another program, and then I jumped to do this program. And when I walked in, I was like, "Hey, what's up? How we doing, everybody?" I was like, or that, just most of that. And I was like, "Ah, no, we're not doing that." So we're gonna do a series of things. So the first activity was them learning each other's names, right? So we all were in a circle, and what the game was the name game. I said my name, the person next to me said their name, and then my name, and the person next after me said their name, the other person before them, and then my name. And we went around until everyone said each other's names. Wow. And if we got it wrong, we had to start from the top. So it took us a little bit, but it took us that long. We got it like, what, 15 minutes maybe? 15, 20 minutes? We got it. So, and one of the things is to start off with the names. The names are so important. I told the young men that, in this world you have your name and your word, and so you got to make sure that you stay true to that. And so we wanted to start off with that type of foundation. And then we went into the fun stuff, right? Into them playing rock, paper, scissors, and battling each other out. And whoever lost, like Raj said, had to cheer the other person on. And so they got a little rowdy. We had a little video, they were getting a little crazy. All I heard was, "Do you want that smoke?" That's all I kept hearing. "Do you want the smoke?" Just kept hearing that. And so that was what's happening there in the second icebreaker. And in the last icebreaker, we actually had them engaging in questions. Just random questions. We had them in two small circles, and they had to talk to the person in front of them for a minute, and they had to rotate. And the questions were completely random, to what you do on the weekends, to what's your biggest strength, to what's your biggest fear, to what's your best superhero, to what power you have. And they engaged in that for about like 30 or 45 minutes. It's the most time I've seen them not on their phone, to be honest. So that's kind of how we kicked off the program in that morning.
So, moving after lunch, what we did on Thursday, we had a discussion with these folks. Who remembers what happened here? Who remembers what happened before this picture? Lee got it.
Oh, wait, I gotta explain. Yeah. What's your full name?
Your full name.
My name is Guy Kwai Lee. Right. I'm an upcoming sophomore going to Central Catholic High School. Before this picture, we was actually going to do this inside, but there was a fire drill, and Zay was complaining about it being too cold, so we went outside. And then he was complaining how he had allergies and we should have stayed inside. But in his video, this picture, that's DT. That's Garrett. Josh. And the last one is, yeah.
Michaela, she works in financial aid, that's Naray's colleague.
What did you tell me about? What's something you remember from that session?
Something I remember is DG, he talking about how like if we need help like with the financial aid and everything, give him a call. He like it don't matter. Like, we should start looking for colleges now, no matter what age we're at. And how he just met us and how he wants all of us to succeed. That's us paying attention. Yeah.
Anybody else have a takeaway on this one?
So, after we got done with that session, we moved on to our next session in which we broke the group up into two. The first, one half of the group went on an entire campus tour, and the other half of the group was getting mentors by some of the people that we had come up. There was a lot of Black and Latino brothers, Black and brown brothers, just to speak to them about their successes and the stuff that they had to go through. So,
Let me just say one more thing about that. So this is our second year running this program. We did one in 2022. There were 17. We did two cohorts, two groups last month. So we did a group of 17 and 16 last month. And now we did another group of 16 just now. And when we put a call out to Black and Hispanic, Latino men to come to campus to speak into the lives of rising 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, they come running. They say, I'll come 1 day, 2 days, whatever you need, we'll be there for it. And so we love this program, like Tim mentioned, because each individual young man is spending an hour with a professional who is in education, who might be in business, government and law, you name it. They come here to spend time with the guys. So, like Tim said, what can somebody remember from how this went?
it's on.
No.
Upcoming junior. It was for me, it was like talking about the kind of teacher of the one beating around campus about how it was being a teacher, the responsibility of being a teacher, how you manage time, like phrase, student's word, and doing your house, like all this like my whole life really.
He had Mr. Hickerson, the financial literacy, yesterday, about financial literacy. Okay, all right.
You up, buddy?
My name is Joel Powell. I'm from William Allen High School. I'm a sophomore. Sophia, she toured us around the school and
What's some of the places you saw? What you remember from the tour?
we went to each individual building and we toured around the region. We got to tour the dorms, the gym, the rec center. We got to go into the weight room. We got to we seen the chapel. We went inside the library. We got to see the classrooms, the individual classrooms.
I did want to go back to the mentoring. So listen, let me tell you something real quick. I don't know if it's relevant or not. When I was a kid, pay attention. When I was a kid growing up, and I would be like maybe in third, back in this day, 80s, and at elementary school, there would be, videos and pictures of people, and most of them are all white people, right? Every time there was a black person on the screen, the whole class would laugh. Because it was like funny for some reason to see a non-white person on a screen. So I don't know why I share that, but every time I'm showing pictures, I know you're laughing because it's you, it's like nervous energy, but just think about that. Like seeing yourself, like being proud to see yourself on screen. What I did want to do is go back to the mentoring session and see if anyone else had any takeaways. Remember who the mentors were, any of the things that those spoke about. You got his contact information, I'm sure.
My name is Andre. I'm an upcoming junior at Parkland High School. My mentor helped me, we just spoke about how my life is and how his life was similar to mine.
What did you tell him? About anything? Okay. And what did he say in response?
He told me he's trying to travel.
All right, cool. Wrap it up. One more from the mentoring session.
I don't know if you remember me again, Chauncey Taylor. I was from the juniors in the Valley Academy. I had Dr. Harrison Bailey, and we talked about, he got a degree in anthropology and sociology from Lafayette, and he's now employed at Liberty High School. We talked about not only the process of going to college, but what we want to do, what I want to do after college. So, for example, I told my parents this the next morning. He told me, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you grow up? I told him pathology. He told me, all right, so what's your hobby? So you have what you are good at, which is I like recognizing and explaining medical aspects of life, but what do you like to do? I told him right. He said, all right. So if you, for say, you get your degree, you do your residence, you are employed at a lab, you're a pathologist, right? And you think, this might not be for me. I don't want to do this. You can take your hobby as writing. And since you have a degree, you are an accredited source. You take your hobby as writing, maybe write a blog. So he told me that was one of the ways to combine your hobby, what you like to do, and your desired career, what you're good at.
All right, we're gonna move on to,
Alright, cool. This was a session, and you could have a little hint because you see the slide right there. This was the first day right after the mentoring session. So we were in the hub lounge, we were sitting in those comfy chairs. Who would like to talk a little about what we spoke in this session? Who wants to elaborate?
My name is Ronald Guerrero. I'm an upcoming sophomore, and I'm going to in this picture, we just talking about like different people, like our color, going to school. Like it's hard for us because they're gonna look at us different, while other people just get looked at the same. And how we have to just make ourselves fit in, but also act normal in some sort of way.
We'll talk a little bit about how it's going to be.
My name is Jake Gaskins. I go to Freedom. I'm a writing junior. Also known as Spider-Man. So in this session, we talked about mental health, and we talked about pacing yourself. We used an example. I forgot the name, but I remember a little short that was made in watching it while I was younger of a man with 2 sledgehammers racing a train to put on railroad tracks going through a mountain. Now he did beat the train, he beat the machine, but he died in the end. So with that, the takeaway is you have to pace yourself before you pass out. For me personally, that really spoke to me because I'm someone who gives my all to everything, so I feel like if I don't start to pace myself, then I will burn out.
so the idea, just for families, the idea behind that session was talking about the dynamic of being a Black or Latino young man on a college campus, and or in predominantly white settings. And so I wrote my dissertation, my doctoral studies, was called When Millennials Meet Baby Boomers, multiple case studies on the experiences of Black male college students. And so I looked at the experiences of men of color on campus in the 60s and 70s, and then I wanted to see if they got any better by the 2010. And so the things that the men in the 60s and 70s were dealing with are many of the same things that our Black and Latino young men face today. And so the idea was just to be mindful about how much of this assimilation process you're doing. How much are you trying to force yourself to fit into environments that aren't built for you? And to make sure you are talking about that with other people. They were not encouraged to force themselves to fit in. They were not encouraged to not be who they are. They were encouraged to make sure that they are true to themselves and understand, what the environment looks like. So very good job.
Another thing I want to add on this, because you can see it in this picture, is Mr. Albert actually wrote a book about tips and advice going into college. I think 15 tips. It breaks down every single thing you could possibly need about going to college, and he was kind enough to give each and every one of our mentees one of his books.
That's what that is.
You can see in the picture.
talks about a guide on how to succeed in college, and consejo is like an advice. And so it's one advice after another. And so we start off with choosing what school you should pick. What's the difference between a predominantly white institution versus a historically black college or university versus a Hispanic serving institution? And it goes all the way to what you do after college. How do you take the things that you did in college and you learn to apply them into your career? And all the things that, kind of like what I learned and what I went through in my own college experience, apply it to the book. And so all these young men have those consejos now, and hopefully they can apply it to their own college journey. So who wants to share a little bit about this picture here? What was going on here?
Oh my God.
I think you guys can do it. Yes, do it.
I guess it's only right because me, we went to an Iron Beach game, right? Afterwards, we went to an Iron Beach game. I think they played the Syracuse Nets. And you see me with, that's a game ball. They hit a pop fly. We were on the right side of the foul line. They hit a pop fly, bounced off the ground, and it landed in my hands.
That's your blessing, baby. That's your blessing, baby.
Just want to say something.
So I just got, y'all see that food up there? That's me, right there, right? So I was standing, right? Hold on. I was standing right here, right? And then there was people back here, they said, it's coming. So I thought they hit it out. And then I look over and it bounced off the railing and there's a baseball come flying at my head. So I duck and I turn around and Chauncey's holding the baseball.
Who wants to share about the Iron Pig experience?
I'm not in Osama. I'm a senior here in my school. So yeah, after the elementary game, it was pretty nice outside, especially when the sun was setting and it rained a bit. But yeah, the game was nice. The food was good. It was nice. Just a nice time to go, like talk about all this stuff.
T-shirt and they forced me to give it to the kid next to me.
I ain't gonna lie, it was hot. I was just sweating.
So, how many people here remember Professor Fiani? Professor Fiani. I'm gonna ask one of y'all to talk a little about what you learned in this class.
My name is Joaquin the Baptist, or I go by Jojo. I'm from East Stroudsburg North. I'm an upcoming senior, and in this class, we were learning about organic chemistry, yeah, and I was just answering most of the questions, because I don't know, you was giving me a round of applause, because my questions was on point. Pretty much, we learned how to conduct ourselves in a room with a professor, what we should and should not do, different stuff that are expected of us. It comes down to little stuff like your posture, how you look, different if you engage enough. But the main thing we learned was I answered most of the questions.
Who wants to talk a little about what's going on this session?
My name is Olivia Washington. I'm a rising junior, 16. I go to executive. In this picture, we were using team skills, bonding and stuff. So we had to build the highest tower. The only way we can earn it is by doing objective push-ups and other stuff like that. It will build up more when we keep doing more. So what we didn't realize at the end was that we all could work together to build one big tower that Albert told us.
So in this activity, the takeaway was that you have to think outside the box, because after we was all in a circle, Albert talked about how he told us to write our names 5 times, and I wrote my full name, so it was like I wrote like 12 letters 5 times. That's 60 letters. But then after he told me I could have just wrote what I go by, because it's still my name, or I could have wrote your name, because that's what he told us to write. He told us that we have to think outside the box, and yeah.
So the essence of that activity was to get them to try in smaller groups to earn resources so they could build a taller standing structure. At no point in time did I told them that they had to compete amongst themselves to do so, but they did it anyways. And so the nature of the activity is sometimes we're not in competition with each other. We can work together to share resources to accomplish our common goal, and that's the purpose of the activity. And hopefully the purpose that they learn together collaborating in this program is that they're not in competition with each other. There's enough room on the table for all of us to eat. We just gotta work smarter, not harder. And so that they were earning material. Part of the push-ups, it was about earning stuff, right? Nothing is given, everything is earned. So they had to earn push-ups, they had to earn it through jumping jacks, through mountain climbers, through various different activities, and they had to put, they had to work a little bit to get the stuff so they can actually earn it.
I have a lot of chances of doing 50 push-ups, 80 squats.
Before we get to this session up there, after that session that we just started talking about, me, Prince, and Zay actually sat down with the youth, and we kind of just had a student mentor panel where we allowed them to ask questions. Most of it was centered around athletics and being a student athlete, which for me and Prince, we spoke about actually understanding that in student athlete, the student part comes first. And one of the most important things is for them to not only remember that themselves, but also to make sure that their coaches and everyone else around them respects that as well. So what were some of the main takeaways from the panel when y'all was asking us questions?
My name is Theo Rodriguez. I'm an upcoming senior at William Allen. And my main takeaway from the panelists was that if you put your mind to something and you drive yourself to something, and most importantly, if you do something you're passionate about, you will succeed no matter what. And yeah, just to try your hardest. And they're also giving us financial advice and college advice.
In this picture, we after we I feel like we were doing the building blocks, and the really good tell you is our group, my group, with me, Nas, we were building circles, cylinders, and they were telling us if you're a sport or if you're playing sports or anything that you do, to always go hard, do your best, put your full effort to it. If you don't put your full effort into something that you're doing, what's the point of doing it? It's just your purpose and your passion.
So in the interest of time, we're going to keep this rolling. We had a panel here yesterday called Black and Latino Male Excellence. We had a panel of gentlemen from law enforcement, business and engineering, higher education, high school principal, a pastor, also a professor, also an IT consultant, a detective, and so they were just speaking into the lives of the men. And we were interviewing them about their range of experience. Anybody have a quick takeaway from the panel that we had yesterday? Go back here to Joe.
So basically, they were talking about different life experiences. So what I basically learned was that you could observe a box from different perspectives, different angles. So a box is not only a rectangle. You could look around and you see the different sides of a cube. If you like taking a different perspective on different people's experiences, you could put it together and formulate what you think is best for you. Another thing that I learned upon a little more was that failure is one of the best lessons you can have. The more you fail, you should like failure but not like failure. You should not like to fail but accept failure and learn from failure so you can do better. So that basically
One of the things I took down, like he said yesterday, he said, don't chase the dollar, chase your passion. And he said, don't piss on the work of your parents. So explain on that as your parents are feeling like they're working hard for you, they work hard for you to go to college. Don't like mess that up for them, try to do something stupid. So you can't get into a good college, you should get good grades for them. You should work hard because your parents are the ones that are working hard for you to have a better life.
One of the quotes I took down, I forgot who said it, I think it was yeah, I forgot. It said, you will often be the only, but do not feel intimidated. So basically, what I thought from that is we talked, yesterday we talked about how, it's not many black people in the college room, Prince and Tim, they were saying how there's barely any black people in there. So what I thought is even though you're the only black person in class, you're surrounded by people you don't know, don't feel intimidated. You belong there. You're supposed to be there. If you're there for a reason.
And one of the things that I jotted down that I really like that they said was the blessings of failure is resilience, which basically means it doesn't matter if you fail because you guys can keep working to bounce right back, get back to it.
Get the lesson.
They took notes. They took the notes.
Yes.
That's what they look on the notes.
Okay.
Another thing I took out of this was to step out to feel comfortable, to be comfortable. I don't like public speaking much, but I had to be uncomfortable to do it. Now I feel comfortable speaking in front of people.
Also, one is be you because you are good at it. That, to me, that means don't change you because of other people or because of your surroundings. Be who you are and be proud of who you are.
Yeah. That was
Very
good.
proud, very proud. Excellent job. So then we had lunch, and then we had a panel, a two-person talk called financial literacy and entrepreneurship. Who remembers what we spoke about yesterday with Wilson and Mr. Secretary?
So yesterday, my name is Amir again. Yesterday we talked about in the beginning we talked about bills, so rent, groceries, utilities, all kinds of things like that, and then we looked up the annual salaries of a high school graduate and then a college graduate, and the college graduate just barely broke even. I think that he had about $50 left more to spend. That wasn't including days going out, that was bare minimum, everything. And then the high school graduate was behind by about over 20,000 per year. So that just really spoke to what you need to do, and that me personally, I don't believe in into that later as he told us about his side businesses. He was a teacher, he does DJing on the side, he's into stocks, and he also is into real estate. And he took something from me as I think about it, like the table. The more legs that you have on the table, the better that it's gonna be. So with that, I also got to talk to him about real estate as that's something that I'm interested in, and helping people who need it.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and he's not joking. He's going to use that answer that you need in his other presentations. Good job. And then last night, as we began to wrap up, we had this thing called Suits, Cuts, and Conversations. And so that was just less than 24 hours ago. There's a lot that happens in this particular session. There's Tim in the front, getting his line straight. If you look in the top left corner, you'll see a slide that says NAACP. So we also had our Moravian University police chief. He is the founder of the Hunterdon County NAACP. And he's our police chief. He spoke to the young men. I don't have the card, I think. He spoke to the young men about contact theory. Basically, he was talking about getting stopped by the police. And he actually did a training for how to manage should, or if, or I don't say when, but should a young man of color be pulled over by the police. And then, did he give you those little cards? And so he gave them, and asked the young man for them, he gave them a little business, it looks like a business card, it's yellow, but it's, you open it up, and it has all these steps that tells you, okay, step one, do this, step two, don't do this, or whatever it is. So engage your young man about how that went, but that was also a part of Suits, Cuts, and Conversations. And of course, that was also where the suits were delivered. It's a organized chaos that happens in this room. There's snacks on the other side, you can't see them, not in the room, but down the hall. And so we enjoyed that. And then after that, we did feed them. We did feed them well. So this will be the last part that I pass the mic to anybody, but who wants to talk about
They're gonna talk about the food.
I'm gonna give it to you to distribute.
That's not even Joel. Yo, remember who was in your class.
So yesterday we went to Dr. Hunt's house and had dinner. We ate ribs, mac and cheese, chicken, and string beans. Rice, yeah. It was good. And I think Dr. For me, this was probably the best part of the program. At first, so before we even started eating, I asked Dr. Hunter if he had Uno cards, and he came back with his Uno dare. So like, if you put down the draw 2, you either pick up 2 or do the dare. Chauncey, he did the dare, and he had to dance for a ballerina for 2 rounds. Oh wait, it was actually he had to dance for a ballerina until his next turn, right? So then it was going to be his turn, but Eddie skipped him, so we had to keep dancing. And then they called us into the house, and we, at first he wasn't even going to make ribs, but my mentor Jason, when I was talking to him, he told me how Dr. Hunter was a good cook and that he makes good ribs. So I asked him if he could make some ribs, and he made them. But yeah, the food was actually really good. And Tim and Prince was getting sticky. They had more from leftovers. Yeah. It was too good. Y'all was not saying that. JoJo.
Jojo, you just going crazy, man. Yeah. Oh, and after, we ate a lot, but still cook these kids in basketball.
Also, Zay's on his third plate right here.
So that's a picture of Zay, one of our other mentors.
This is the face of the kid that's in the cook.
I was full. Yo, I hit 3 threes on you.
So clearly they were really well fed. And then afterwards, it took a little 30-minute hiatus before running over the court right away. Went and dropped off their suits, their shirts, their ties, all that stuff. Made sure I was secure, and then they came out to the right, to the basketball court where, we played some basketball. There was some footballs around. So who wants to talk a little about, we don't have a lot of time, but who wants to talk a little about that?
When we was in the rec, we was playing basketball and football, throwing the football around. Like, I was one at JoJo, like personally me, I was cooking him. And I cooked Raj too. Like, stop that. Me, Nas, and Lee, bro. When we played Tim and Isaiah, we was cooking them. We were cooking them. We went all the games, to be honest. Like, nobody really mess with it.
Oh no, clap.
So during the basketball game, the first game, I was actually gonna guard Tim, but he said he was guarding, so I was guarding Prince, and Prince was actually getting mad at me. They almost jumped me and Nas after the games. They pulled us into a dorm room and started. It was like, why was you guarding me? Leave me alone.
We're gonna start here first. This man right here is sweating.
Sweating is life.
I promise you, the ball was on the super slide. God, this man over here, I don't know what he was doing. He was just looking at me the whole game. The ball was up. The ball was coming. He still looking at me. I'm like, yo, the ball's coming.
Yeah, he was mad because I wasn't going to be open. Defense? What? He saw me in the hallway, he threw me in my door, locked the door, didn't let nobody go in. My mom told me, like, hey, why were you doing all that? I was moving everything because I was moving so fast. And I don't know why, I was like, like, it was ugly. But yeah, they got fired in the first game. You can't really say nothing about it because
Shout out to you.
So the last thing I want to talk to you about is not anything that we went over this week, but just for the families and for the young men in the room. We also do this thing called the Zora Martin Felton Symposium, Empowering Women of Color. And so this is a different program that happens at a different time. It's named after Ms. Zora Martin Felton, class of Moravian College, 1952. She was the first Black graduate from Moravian College for Women. She passed away in 2022, and in her honor, we do this program. It is for high school age young women, and it takes place generally in the spring. And so our colleague, Dr. Belinda Law Peterson, as well as my colleague in the back, Michelle Rios, they lead that effort. So, if in your mind you're thinking, this is a great program, do you do anything for women? And the answer is yes. It's a different scale, a bit of a different scope, but Michelle in the back can answer any other questions you might have about that. And we do work with local school districts to pull that off. So, this isn't the closing. We just wanted to take some time to present to the families what this week, not even a week, these past 2 days have been all about. And so we're going to, in a few minutes, transition over for lunch. A couple things. We're going to do lunch. While lunch is happening, we're going to have each one of the guys follow us. I think it's going to be upstairs, where we're going to do headshots. So we're going to get professional headshots in their suits And then once we get those from our colleague, we'll send them to you, and you'll have something for your LinkedIn profile, whatever you want to do. And then at, I believe it is 12:30, scheduled.
12:30, yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna happen, and then at 12:30, we're going to finish up in, the student mentors will get you there, in the pavilion. So guys, where we had, the first day where we had the warm-ups and everything, we'll be back in that. So. All right, so that's all for now.